funk, thoughts deep, boys steeped in the depths that he sunk. Big stress, depressed in the middle of fall. Sky gray, high late in the thick of it all. I wonder, how long can a human survive just staying alive or carrying the rest of the tribe? Waiting for the day to arrive or struggling dies, and I be doing way, way more than getting by. So why? Cop myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Hey, cop myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Teary eyes realize life is so much more than just living a day. Every day I can sit and reflect and breathe and connect to myself and all that I've been given. See, giving up is not an option. So when I'm looking at gray skies, I'll be adopting a new way to deal with a test. Lord, relieve me of stress. The rain be looking like what blessings dropping. And so I got myself a cup of coffee, sip of water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Hey, here we go. Yeah. Let's do this. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. In times of test, let no harm beset me, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. In times of test, let no harm beset me, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. Woo.
Salute everybody. Salute. Welcome, y'all. Welcome to another one podcast episode. I am Urban. Happy Wednesday to y'all. Hope y'all work week is going productive and going pretty good. Those of y'all who are in the South experiencing cold weather, even up there, I think up there in North in Chicago and stuff like that, y'all experiencing cold weather too. Hope y'all take care of yourself. Y'all staying safe up there as well too. And doing what you gotta do to protect yourself. All right. So appreciate y'all tuning in. We got a good show on tonight. Tonight we're gonna talk about a young lady that once again I ran into on TikTok. Right, this young lady, did something very, very interesting. All right. So just to give you a real quick backstory before we jump into what I'm gonna present to y'all. This young lady, she ended up cheating on her husband, right? But that's not the kicker to this. The kicker to this is that not only she cheated on her husband, but she felt that it was necessary for her to give her husband a hall pass to cheat back on her. All right. So once again, yes, we're gonna talk about this behavioral modern day women and why they do the stuff that they do. All right. So this once again, this young lady right here, we're gonna talk about today. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna review it, and we're gonna just dive into this topic. All right. Thanks for everybody hitting the thumbs up. Thanks for everybody watching in the bushes, and thanks for everybody who's gonna want to watch the replay as well too. So without further ado, let's go and jump to this topic. All right. Let's go and jump to it. I want to go and present y'all this video, and let's do it. Let's do it. Now let's listen to what she had to say about this topic, all right? And we're gonna go deeper into this, all right? Break this thing down.
So after I cheated on my husband, I gave him a hall pass. But here's the reason why I did that. Is because I didn't want to take the responsibility of getting rid of all demons that I opened up my marriage to. And usually this is what people do when they cheat. They want their spouse to cheat on them back, so it would give them a reason to feel better in some way. But let me tell you, that's the wrong way to do it. It's the wrong way to go about it, because at the end of the day, you make matters worse.
And even though I knew that option was put forth in front of me, I knew that wasn't the right choice.
Yeah.
That's not the way that we try to rebuild a marriage. If you want to stay in a marriage that's still on a downfall and just ride it out downhill, that's up to you if you want to make that choice. But I was not about to make that same choice if I know I also have another option of getting back in the face of God, praying for my marriage, praying for my wife, and trying to do the things and correct the wrongs that we had that led us into that position.
All right. So she said this. She said that she had cheated on her husband. Okay. She didn't give like a narrative for why she cheated on her husband or anything like that, but all she said that she cheated on her husband. Then she said that she wanted to give him a hall pass to do the same as that thing. Then she started briefly explaining the reason why she was going to give him a hall pass to cheat. So pretty much long story short, she basically saying that in order for her to feel better about her cheating, I'm gonna allow my husband to do the same as that thing. Okay. Now the thing about this is that whenever people do this, regardless if it's men or women, right? Whenever they cheat on someone, then they feel guilty about that, right? They will resort to these type of tactics to where they feel like, well, I'm guilty, so basically what I'm going to do, basically what I'm going to do is this: I'm going to, in order way for me to feel better, I'm going to go ahead and allow my husband to do the same as that thing. Then another thing about this is that she wanted her husband to be in that same expectation of cheating, right? But instead of him taking that way or taking that out to be on the same level as her, he said that he decided not to do that. And he said the reason why he decided not to do that is because he wanted to save his marriage. He wanted to basically do what was right, pretty much. Vance, what's up with it? Appreciate you showing up. Oh yeah, I know the full story, Von. But we finna jump into it. Yeah, I know the full story behind it. But but yeah, so yeah, so we're gonna go deeper into this, okay? We're gonna go deeper to the reason why she's saying the way she said. We're gonna go deeper into the reason why um she decided to cheat on her husband to begin with in the first place. All right. So here's another video. We're gonna review this other video. Now this video that we're gonna review right now, she's on the Dear Wifey podcast, something like that and stuff, right? And so They explained it in more detail about her and her infidelity, the reason why she did what she did, and we're gonna go from there. All right. Make sure y'all hit that like button as well too. And thank everybody for tuning in. Everybody who was watching me live, and everyone who's in the bushes as well, and everyone who's gonna review the replay. All right.
Loves you, how this relationship was God ordained. I can definitely see it. But then infidelity reared its
Scorpio.
ugly head into y'all's marriage. How did that happen, Raven?
So he was in California for school, and we had a horrible argument. We honestly, every time we argued, it was always about his mom or his family. And because of something that I saw or how I felt, you know, I didn't necessarily know how to express to him to the point where he could understand exactly how I felt. So one night there was an argument about a situation, and that changed everything. I had immediately just checked out. I was just done. I didn't even care if we were married, if we were together anymore.
Now listen to her story. Okay, she's saying that this infidelity came about because they've been having issues with his parents. Okay. Now, one thing that I know for certain is this: is that whenever whether it's a man or a woman, husband or wife, whenever y'all incorporate family into your marriage, it is destined to go downhill. Now, I said this before in my one podcast, and I'm saying it again. I believe that any type of immediate family should not have access to your marriage. Period. I don't care if it's your mama, your daddy, your brother, your sister, your cousins. I don't care if it's your best friend that you knew since elementary school. They should not have access to your relationship. Period. Because when you're allowed on access to your relationship, guess what's going to happen? They're gonna feel entitled to tell you how the way you should handle your relationship based on their personal experience on dealing with their relationship. Whenever you do things like that, then yes, it will go downhill because basically what you're basically replicating your parents' relationship. That's basically what you're doing. So in her situations, I also mentioned this as well too, that many women, right, they have a problem with their husband and the mom. And for the most cases, the reason why they have a problem with the husband and their mom is because they believe that the husband is a mama's boy towards their mom, which it could be true. Then another thing is this: is that they mom be indirectly in competition with the wife. So meaning that they mom be sitting up here being competition because hey, this is the man that I raised. I raised this boy into a man. And so who are you as a woman to come and take my man from me or take my boy away from me? Especially if it's a single mom. Especially if it's a single mom. So the wife and the mother or the mother-in-law, whatever you want to call it, right? They be in competition with each other. That's why they don't get along with each other. You know what I'm saying? Typically, they don't get along with each other because they be in competition. So this is the reason why she is saying that they kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth about the relationship. And finally, she felt that he wasn't understanding, right? And finally, she said that I checked out of the whole entire relationship. Now, notice she checked out emotionally from the relationship. Now, there's one other thing that I want to point out too before I let the video play. Uh, I want to also point out the man perspective too, her husband perspective. Now, this is his particular perspective about this, right? Now, he was listening to the things that his wife was telling him, right, about his mom. But even though he was listening, but he wasn't understanding. He wasn't understanding that his mom was either directly or indirectly in competition with her. He didn't understand that. So naturally, as a man, guess what he's going to do? He is going to defend his mom. He's going to think in his mind that this woman who I'm in a relationship with, I know for 4 or 5 years or whatever stuff, right? She's literally attacking my mom who birthed me, who knew me all my life. So naturally, he's going to try to defend his mom. And so she's going back and forth with him. He's not understanding that concept that his mom is in competition with her, and she's trying to tell him, right, to the point where she said that she emotionally checked out. But let's continue.
Because it just felt like it was just never going to stop. Like it was like, will you please just get it? But I decided, that's fine. I went back to Vegas, and I had just had a job. I just got a new job, and it was this guy. He appeared as a friend. He would listen. He would, make me laugh. And it was everything that I wasn't getting at that time. And sure enough, it led to infidelity.
All right, so listen to what happened now. She already said that she emotionally checked out of the relationship, right? And so here's another part of the story. All right, so the dude is in California, okay? At this time, I also want to, yeah, matter of fact, also let me give y'all a timeline of this situation, all right? Because this situation didn't just happen. The timeline of this situation happened almost like 9 years ago, all right? So within this 9 year time frame, they had got married young, and they was still in college. You know what I'm saying? So he was in college in California. She was going back and forth between, California, Vegas, and all the stuff there, wherever she was doing and stuff, right? And so they was trying to make this relationship work. So they're still getting to know each other and everything, right? They're still getting to know each other. They're still getting into the whole dynamics of the relationship and stuff. So of course, by them being young and getting married young and still getting to know each other young, of course you're going to run into marital problems. Okay, that's natural. But just like I'm pointing out to y'all that the marital problems that they was having is common. The two most common problems that you can have in marriage is dealing with finances and dealing with family. Them are the two biggest problems in marriage. I remember when I was when I was studying for my degree in sociology and stuff, right? And I had to take a psychology course. One of the courses that I had to take was dealing with marriage and family. Okay, dealing with marriage and family, and dealing with marriage and family counseling, premarital family counseling, and marriage and family counseling and stuff, right? And so in this course, it was teaching us, the students, about the two most common things that will end a relationship. The two most common things is what I said: finances and family. There's a third thing too that will end marriages too. The third thing that will end in the marriages is religion. The third thing is religion. But that's what she's saying. So she ended up going, right. She ended up going to Vegas and finding a job. And so what ended up happening is that she fell for the trap that every woman falls for, especially Christian type or religious type of women. That trap is that she ended up falling for that trap of a work husband. That's pretty much what she fell for. This dude that came into the scene, right? He was giving her all the attention that she was seeking right now. Remember what I stated earlier about her, right? That she said she emotionally checked out, right? And also remember what I pointed out earlier too, is that what she really was seeking was that she wanted him to understand that it was his mom. It was his mom who was in competition with her. So here's the question. If it was her mom it was his mom who she was in competition with. Why did she decide to listen to this work husband? Because the work husband is not his mom, right? So why did she allow this work husband to give her this tension? Why did she allow this work husband to give out certain love languages and stuff that she was seeking from her husband? Because I'm pretty sure, based on what she's saying, I'm pretty sure that he was still fulfilling other type of love languages that she was desiring from him, other than him not listening to her feelings about his mom. So once again, why did she allow this work husband to fulfill her love, all these love languages, what her husband was supposed to be doing, that led her to infidelity? Why? Now, the reason why is because she had imagined this dude to be the perfect scenario dude emotionally. She had imagined this dude was her husband, but better. Meaning that this dude don't have no type of, in her mind, this dude don't have no type of attachments with his mother. So she don't have to deal with the stress and the worries and all the stuff with dealing with a mama's boy, pretty much. That dude was her husband without the mama. And so therefore, she ended up using that, right, and saying, man, this is an ideal perfect situation for me. So I'm going to go ahead and fulfill what I want to do, which is to do the infidelity thing. And that's the reason why she did what she did. But let's continue.
And then how long did it take for him to find knowledge about it?
Oh no, that it was immediate.
Yeah.
Because it was convicting. Like I literally I was convicted. Like I was like, I cannot hold that. Like I called him immediately, and we were, yeah, we.
Now, I want to pause it right here too. The reason why is because, to be honest with y'all, I don't pretty much believe her when she said when she told him about this, that it was immediately. I don't believe that. I believe that she was feeling bad about it afterwards, but when it was happening, she didn't feel bad about that, because if she felt bad about it or she felt convicted about it, she would have never had did that in the first place, regardless of her disconnect, her emotional disconnect from her husband. She would have never did that. Period. So she didn't feel bad about that, nor she didn't feel convicted about it until after the fact. Until she realized, after when she got what she'd been seeking for from her husband, she got it from another dude. Then that's when the light bulb popped up in her mind, like, hold up, this dude ain't my husband. I can't marry this dude. He can't be no side dude. So what am I gonna do with this dude? And so therefore, that's when she talking about immediately. I felt immediately convicted by, you know what I'm saying? Then the thing about it is that she trying to use this also as a more of a religious term too, like what God sold it into my spirit, that God has told me in the spirit and the Holy Spirit realm that what you did is wrong. If that, once again, if that be the case, even if you had that connection with God, even with God or the Most High God, right? Whoever you want to call it, right? Even if you had a connection, God would have convicted you right then and there in the beginning, before all this would ever had transpired. God would have told you, do not listen to that dude, because that dude is trying to smash you. God would have told you, disconnect yourself from that dude. God would have told you that if this dude won't disconnect from you, then you need to file harassment at your job, because this dude's harassing you. God would have told you that right then and there, right? But, however, if she said that she's of God, even if she said that she's with filled with the Holy Spirit, whatever, whatever the case may be, right? Why the Holy Spirit then intervene into that situation and tell her right then and there that everything was happening was wrong and protect her from that. Y'all want to know why? The reason why is because at the end of the day, all of it is based on choice. One thing that I dislike about people who are who practice the faith, right? Practice the Christianity faith. One thing that I don't agree with what people do, especially with me, because when I was in the Christian faith, I did the same as that thing. Okay. But one thing that I don't like what we do is that we use God or we use religion as a crutch to justify our overall behavior. Because at the end of the day, God nor the Holy Spirit do not control your actions. Just because you be in church and you have the unction of the Holy Spirit, you can feel the fire in your bones and you begin to speak in tongues and all this stuff. They're thinking that you're being controlled by this malevolent being and stuff like that. And then you walk outside the church. Guess what? Once when you walk outside, you deal with everyday reality. You deal with life. And guess what? No God, no Holy Spirit, no nothing is going to control your overall behavior. You are the only one who controls your behavior. You the only one who makes certain choices and decisions. That's the same concept when people try to blame the devil for choices and decisions that they done made when the devil didn't have nothing to do with that. It was your choice that you made to do certain type of behaviors. Let's be real about it. And just like I say, that's one thing that I don't agree with, you know what I'm saying, with the Christian faith is that they like to justify, they like to blanket over saying that, okay, the devil did this or God did this, or it was God's glory or God's or the will of God for all this stuff to transpire so you could come to God and you can love God and God love you. No. I don't agree with that, nor I don't believe in nothing like that at all, period. Because at the end of the day, it's based on your choice. That's what it all matters. You choose to do that. Just like with her, she chose to sleep with that dude because she was up in her feelings and she wanted to be fulfilled. And she went and been fulfilled. Then the moment after she got fulfilled, then that's all of a sudden she told me I felt bad about it. Then immediately told this dude. And what's even more messed up about it is that she didn't even not at once. Even when she told the dude, she didn't even consider her husband feelings, period. She didn't even consider it, period. She didn't consider if he was going to feel bad or not about that. She didn't. Even after this situation where she's talking about this whole hall pass thing, right? She still was being inconsiderate of his feelings. I'm put y'all this way too, and I'm gonna let the video go. It's just like the same scenario, right? With when you think about the Bible, right? It's like the same scenario with this in the narrative with Genesis, where Eve got tempted by Satan to bite the fruit, right? Or to eat the fruit. Then instead of Eve taking accountability for her behavior, guess what she did? She went and presented the same fruit to her husband. But guess why she did that? She did that because she felt in her mind emotionally, if I'm going to fall for this, then I'm going to make him fall for this as well too. So we both will be at fault. Therefore, that's the reason why she came up with that whole narrative about the hall pass thing. Well, since I didn't did this, since I didn't create infidelity, right? I'm gonna make him bite into this fruit, and he gonna want to do infidelity as well too. Because if I'm gonna get in trouble, he gonna get in trouble too. We both gonna be messed up in the trouble together. But guess what? This dude said, "Hell no, you ain't finna put me up in that. I'm not finna take that fruit. Nope. Mm-mm." But let's continue, y'all.
We're both in tears.
So you called him immediately. I want to put a reference around it. Immediately, like what? The next day?
No, like that day. that night.
So you slept with this guy, and then you called your husband up and told him.
Yeah.
That's powerful. Now I understand why he stayed. This is so good. This is so good. If we can all understand that when we make mistakes, how we go about repairing it can get to the healing a whole lot faster than creating more problems and more problems. Now I got to deal with the fact you cheated. Then I got to deal with the fact you lied to me for 6 months to a year because this person you keep talking about, oh, it's just my coworker. It's just a coworker. Now you got me out here looking crazy for a whole 6 months to a year going to company picnics. And this is a dude you've been sleeping with the whole time and continue to sleep with him. It's a whole lot. It hits different when the guilt and the conviction comes in quick and I can say, listen, I'm gonna cover myself. Here it is. I understand, King. So how did you feel hearing that, Keith?
So like when she first called and told me, I'm like, oh, she joking.
Yeah, he
like,
thought
this
it was
can't
a
be
joke.
real.
He didn't think it.
And so like, you know, especially like mentally where I was at that time, like I was like, nah, this ain't piling on top of this. So
What you mean? Because that wasn't when you were going through depression. Your father was still alive during that time, wasn't
he was still alive. Around that time, like I said, I was playing college ball. I was at a junior college. Had some scholarship offers that was on the table. It was actually going to set us right up in Atlanta where we was planning to go. And I was in a point of just like pride in my life in a sense. I feel like God had to humble me. And so I tore my MCL and my meniscus a week before our rivalry game, and all scholarships got dropped instantly. Like,
And see, let's stop it right there. That goes back to what I was saying earlier, that the mentality of how these type of Christian people think. You know what I'm saying? They think that where everyday life situation happens, they think that it's God doing this to them. They think that, like he said, I was at the time I was playing college ball. You know, I was being a little bit arrogant or whatever stuff like that. You know, I was put across the people over like Jordan. I was like, you know what I'm saying, showing off and stuff. And I just told my meniscus and stuff, but it was really God that told my meniscus for me because He's trying to teach me a greater lesson. No, God didn't have nothing to do with that, bro, at all. You told your meniscus because you doing dumb stuff. That's why. God didn't have nothing to do with that. Period. Oh, by the way, on Scorpio, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But yeah, you did that. You did that. You told that. You end up losing out on your scholarship opportunities for doing that. God didn't have nothing to do with that. It was no humbling experience or nothing like that. That was based on your choice. And another thing too that I want to bring to your attention too, and this is just me personally, all right. I am, to be honest, I am zero tolerance for infidelity. Period. I'm zero tolerance for infidelity. I'm zero tolerance for cheating. And this is the reason why. I believe that if you were to step out on me, right, and feel like that another person need to fulfill you and feel like that I'm not doing my job of fulfilling you in that way, it ain't no need to cheat. You don't need to do that. There ain't no need to cheat at all. Just leave. That's just how the way I feel. Just leave. We don't even have to go through that process of you sneaking out. You don't even have to have no sneaking link. You could just leave. We could be over with, right? You could be unbound from our marital contract and everything and just leave. And you could sleep with whoever you want to sleep with to your heart's desire. I don't care. But when you do it while we married, right, then you want to blame it on me because I'm not fulfilling certain needs. No, that's not right and that's not fair. Because it don't have nothing to do with me. That has everything to do with you, that woman. It don't have nothing to do with me. Because if that be the case, if we're not seeing eye to eye, if what you tell me it's not clicking with me, it's not registering with me, and you feel like you aren't happy and you got to fulfill that somewhere else, then guess what? That is a means to disvalue the relationship. Period. Same thing with me. Instead of going out and cheating, I'll just end the relationship. And I have did that. There been times where I was in a relationship with someone and I wasn't happy. Instead of me trying to, well, I'm just going to go out and cheat so I could feel happy about myself. And since she ain't doing it, I'm going to do it. No, I didn't do that. I just ended the relationship because to me, to me, it's not practical to do that. It takes way too much energy to sit up here and lie, right? It takes way too much energy to constantly, you know what I'm saying, to constantly have that sneaky link going over and over again. It takes way much energy to be sitting up here hiding text messages and everything. So to save from doing that, guess what? I ain't gonna do it at all. I don't have that much energy to be doing that stuff. And to top it off, y'all, I never in my life, ever, in my life, ever, in any relationships that I've been in, I never, ever stepped out. I never cheated on anyone, period. Because like I say, if it get that bad for me, guess what? We're in a relationship. I'm not going to force you to be in a relationship that you don't want to be in. I'm not going to act like a narcissistic, crazy dude and say, no, you got to stay with me. No, if you ain't happy, okay, cool. If I ain't happy in a relationship, cool. Or if I'm not happy, and I'm like, look, I ain't happy in this relationship at all, period. Why? Because of this, and that, and that. And we done talked about this over and over again. I don't see no improvements on your end whatsoever. You have the expectation of me fulfilling you, but you're not doing the same thing with me. So we're going to end the relationship. I'm done. And walk away. It's just that simple versus using all of that energy and extra time to simply sneaking around on somebody and cheating. To me, it just ain't worth it. So to be honest with you, this dude here, even though I respect him for one, not taking that hall pass thing, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I got to call it what it is. This dude here, I ain't gonna lie, this dude here being a straight up simp for real. I ain't lying. Because that is a situation to end that relationship, period. Because she out here in the street, have you looking crazy. And here's another thing too, and I'm gonna want to keep the video going. All right. Here's another point that I want to make too. The reason why I say that is because, like I stated, this whole situation happened over 9 years ago, right? This happened over 9 years ago, right? But guess what? Guess what's happening? His wife is the one who's still rehashing that memory on social media. She's doing it. She posted this the first time around over what, about 5 or 6 years ago. I think longer than that. Posted this around about over 5 or 6 years ago, saying the same as that thing, that she cheated on her husband on TikTok, on IG, on Facebook. And so she did this whole entire thing to say that she had been lifted from God and lifted her from cheating and stuff. And she trying to use this as a teachable thing to show that she loved God. But in reality, what she really doing is that she rehashing this thing. Guess what? That first video that I showed, this one right here, right? I'm play again real quick for y'all. This first video that I showed y'all, right? She posted this video last month in October. She posted this video again last month in October. And guess why? Because she wanted clout over this video. She wanted clout and she wanted to make money. And this dude sitting up here being a sucker over her for this. But I'm playing this video and I'm make some more points about this. And we're gonna get back to the other one. All right. Sour Patch, I see you in the one. Sorry. Sour Patch, I see you in the chat, not in the patch. I see you in the chat. Salute. And sure enough, what's up with it? Salute. Welcome. Yeah, Scorpio, she said this, man, you better get the stepping, dummy. For real, shoot. Because, like I say, I don't play that at all. But yeah, let's hear it.
So after I cheated on my husband, I gave him a hall pass. But here's the reason why I did that. Is because I didn't want to take the responsibility of getting rid of all demons that I opened up my marriage to. And usually this is what people do when they cheat, they want their spouse to cheat on them back. So it would give them a reason to feel better in some way.
Which that is not true. It doesn't give them a reason to feel better in some way. But in reality, what she's really not telling y'all is this. She wanted to do that based on the scenario I gave y'all earlier about being in the garden by Adam and Eve. She wanted this dude to be in the same situation as her so she could use that as leverage to blame him. I cheated. Well, you cheated on me. Well, you cheated on me too. That's what she really wanted to do. That was her real intentions. Just like Eve in the garden. What was the first thing that Eve said to God in the garden? What was the first thing she did when God checked her about eating that fruit? She said that it was the man's fault. Didn't say it was a serpent fault too. Instead of taking responsibility.
But let me tell you, that's the wrong way to do it. It's the wrong way to go about it because at the end of the day, you make matters worse.
And even though I knew that that option was put forth in front of me, I knew that wasn't the right choice.
Yeah.
That's not the way that we try to rebuild a marriage. If you want to stay in a marriage that's still on a downfall and just ride it out downhill, that's up to you if you want to make that choice. But I was not about to make that same choice if I know I also have another option of getting back in the face of God, praying for my marriage, praying for my wife, and trying to do the things and correct the wrongs that we had that led us into that position.
Yeah. And so, in other words, he's saying he wasn't fisting to fall for that at all, period. You're not fisting to get me caught up. That's pretty much what he's saying. I'm one step ahead of you. I knew what you was trying to do. But this goes back to my point again where I was telling y'all about her posting this video. Once again, she reposted this video again on her TikTok page. She did it because she wanted to get clout and she wanted to get views and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But here's another thing too, another point that I want to bring up to y'all. They have separate TikTok pages, right? She have a TikTok page, he have a TikTok page. Her TikTok page is like 90 days for his TikTok page. Guess what? On her TikTok page, all she talk about, majority on her TikTok page is what? This situation. About her cheating, about how God restored her, and all this other stuff. She just recently started talking about the things that's happening over there in the East and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Just recently started talking about that. But majority of her content is talking about this. But meanwhile, her husband, right, when you go to his page, guess what he's talking about? He's not even talking about her cheating. He's not even talking about this situation that happened 9 years ago. Guess what he's talking about? He's talking about wellness and fitness on this page. He's teaching people how to work out. He's training people and all this stuff on this page. So this is the reason why this fell on my desk. And this is the reason why people are starting to talk about it again. It's not because of the algorithm, but it's because of her, because she brought it up again. And she keep doing this. Every year, she brings the situation up in a different way. A couple of years back, when I researched her TikTok page, a couple of years back, she talked about the same situation that she cheated on her husband, right? But she didn't say she gave him a hall pass. She only mentioned that she cheated on him, and that was it. And she mentioned how, she felt convicted about it. The next thing you know, she's praying to God and she's in church and doing all these things, right? And so years later, which is now, she mentioned it again for clout that she's cheating on her husband. But she said, I gave him a hall pass. She mentioned she gave him a hall pass because she know it's going to create clout. So here's the thing about this situation. Knowing that if this is my wife and she's doing that right, I would be the biggest beta male simp to constantly let my wife rehash this situation constantly over and over again, let alone share this situation with people that I don't know. I think it's very immature for her to do that. I don't care if she thinking you making money on this, whatever. I don't care if she thinking it's a teachable moment. I think it's immature that she's doing that. That she keep making this dude revisit this situation over and over again. Something that he didn't have. It wasn't his fault, really. It could be very well prevented on this point, yes, by him understanding what his wife was talking about. But at the end of the day, she the one who made the decision to cheat, not him. She did. And so she keep constantly rehashing this thing over and over to this dude, making this dude revisit this thing every single time to the point where they end up going on this podcast talking about this.
I remember I was in my room on my crutches. Like, man, I think I was talking to my roommates in the living room, and I got the call. I was like, I'll be right back. So I went back in the room. I was talking to her, and then she was telling me, I'm like, nah, this a joke. This ain't happening right now. And then when I started to like hear her crying on the phone, I'm like, yo, she's serious. And so it was at that point I was kind of like a ball of emotion. I was angry at one second, but then I was hurt.
Yeah,
and I was confused, and I was like,
as it
still
should.
in disbelief of like, nah, she just playing. She's an acting major. She playing this out.
So this can't be real. I know she ain't
Right.
telling me this.
Exactly. And so like that was where my emotions were with it. Yeah, and
How did y'all bounce? No, let me ask you that. So after it came, the reality hit that this is real. How did you internalize that?
I kind of like went to like the angry Keith. Like wasn't really I didn't really talk to a lot of people. I was very snappy with a lot of people, even with her during those times, because I think when people see that, okay, our testimony, he forgave, it wasn't instant.
Nah,
I was, I went through a different, I really became like a different person for a
Yeah, as he should, because that is the normal human emotional response for him to do because he's a man. Because once again, this is a person that you decide to spend the rest of your life with. You said that, hey, this is the one. This is this woman who's going to rock with me. We made vows to each other and everything, you know what I'm saying, that we're going to do this thing, right? Only to find out that you're not good enough. Only to find out that she's saying that you're not good enough to her because you're not fulfilling certain things about her. So yeah, that's how the way he's supposed to respond. He's supposed to be mad. He's supposed to be upset. He's supposed to even separate from her. Hell, to be honest with you, he's supposed to be ending that thing right in there. To be honest, because there's like I say, there's no reconciliation for that because she decided to do that. So there ain't no reconciliation. He could forgive her, yeah, he forgive her, but there's no reconciliation over that period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
everything as far as like the gentle speaking Keith and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
He
that was
actually
gone.
turned into my dad.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so that was gone for a long.
And so she also mentioned this too, and I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of story on behind that because I don't have that clip. Well, she mentioned that, yeah, he became just like my dad. Yeah. He became my dad. The reason why she's saying that is because she didn't have a very good relationship with her father. She didn't have a good relationship with her father at all. So when she mentioned that to my, yeah, he became just like my dad. She using that as a justification for his behavior, not understanding that she was the one who created that whole scenario. She did. She the one who made the choice to step out and cheat on that dude. And so just like I said, this dude here, just like I say, I understand the whole concept that, he wants to continue to be in the eyes of God. He want to be saved and all. So I understand that. I understand about the moral compass behind that. I get it. I understand that. But at the same time, this dude is being a simp towards her too. Because he's set up here and stayed with this woman. And on top of it all, she keep revisiting this over and over again and using this as content on her TikTok page.
Long time. And then, I finally
Salute.
came around after a long time of prayer.
Put time. I need to know reference. People going through some stuff right now, and some of them feel like they ain't never making it out. Some people saying, "Get over it. I cheated on you yesterday. Get over it." They be like, "What? You know, it was 6 months ago. It was 4 months ago. That was a year ago. Why you keep bringing this up?" So put reference around it. How long did it take for you to turn your heart around and say, "You know what? I'm staying here and I love you and we finna work this out"?
Right. So as far as like deciding that I was gonna for sure stay, I want to say that took maybe 3-4 months before I really had decided, okay, I'm gonna stay, we're gonna stick this out. For a while we were kind of just like back and forth with each other, and then I was still in California, she was in Vegas, so we just made sure, okay, like we tried to keep our phone calls cordial, and when I would come home or whatever for breaks, and we may see each other, hang out and stuff like that. And I mean, we were living together as well, but it was about 3.5-4 months, especially once I got back home. I was at church like every Sunday just trying to figure out something, like how we was gonna work through it. And then we finally had got to that point. As far as getting to the point to where I would not bring it up, now that was a long time.
Oh,
that was years.
That was just yesterday.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why I'm making this point, that she keep revisiting this thing over and over again. Just like I stated earlier, this situation happened over 9 years ago, right? But she keep revisiting this thing on her TikTok for content. Now, she keep revisiting this thing because she believing in her mind that this whole situation that she went through is going to be revolutionary. It's going to help save people. It's going to help save other women who are out there cheating and all kind of stuff. It's going to bring them to the glory of God and all this other crazy stuff, right? So in her mind, that's why she keep doing this. That's why she keep revisiting this thing. That's why she created another story on talking about that she giving this dude a hall pass to cheat. But he mentioned to me, it took me a long time to finally get over this, but she keep bringing it up. So that's why I'm saying that this dude should have left her a long time ago. He really should have, because if she was that considerate of the situation, if she was that considerate by his feeling, if she was that much in repentance and that much in reconciliation of the relationship, she would end this. She would never mention this again, nor she want to share this on social media for everybody to judge the situation.
And that's where some of those conversations would come up, where it was like, okay, if you said you're gonna forgive me, when are you going to? Because you still bringing this up. We have an argument about who left the dishes out.
Tell me, cheater, cheater all on me. That's what's wrong with you.
Exactly. And so it was that was just something that took
some time.
Years. Yeah.
Hold on, let me rewind that again. Was that her that said that to him or what? Hold up.
For breaks, and we may see each other, hang out and stuff like that. And I mean, we were living together as well. But it was about 3.5-4 months, especially once I got back home. I was at church like every Sunday just trying to figure out something, like how we was going to work through it. And then we finally had got to that point. As far as getting to the point to where I would not bring it up, now that was a long time.
Oh,
that was years.
That was just yesterday.
Yeah. And that's where some of those conversations would come up, where it was like, okay, if you said you're going to forgive me, when are you going to? Because you still bringing this up. We have an argument about who left the dishes out.
Tell me, cheater, cheater all on me. That's what's wrong with you.
Exactly.
And notice what he's saying about that too. That's why I have to replay it again so I can hear it clearly. So pretty much what he's saying is that she set up her and going to go ahead and check him and tell him, well, when are you going to get over this? I cheated. Yeah, I cheated. When are you going to finally get over this and forgive me? Why we got to argue? We have an argument and you keep bringing this thing up that I cheated on you. Why? Because you cheated on him. That's why. That's why. And plus, you now sitting up here telling this dude, you literally sitting up here now telling this dude when he should get over you. That's like the equivalent of telling somebody when they should stop grieving over a person that they lost. That's the same equivalence of people saying you should get over that person that you lost. Now, why you keep talking about this? So she pretty much put this dude in this situation, tried to check this dude, or she tried to manipulate this dude and say, well, now I'm the victim here because you keep talking about it. You're getting mad and you keep talking about it. Well, I didn't did it and I didn't did it and I didn't, I didn't ask for forgiveness, God. I didn't ask for forgiveness from you and I didn't told you about it. I did everything right, but it's you who's doing everything wrong. No, he's not doing anything wrong. He's behaving how the way a normal human person is supposed to behave. The dude has been hurt. He's been betrayed by a person that said that they was going to rock with him, a person who said that you're only one, that you're the only one who's exclusive to me, regardless of the situation, regardless of how the way I feel. So he's hurt. So he needs time to get over that. But you telling him you should get over it. Like the hell? That's the reason why I'm saying that this dude should have won. Man, forget that. He should have just left her alone. She wanted to be with that dude, had that little one night stand with that wherever the hell it was. If she wanted to want to do that, she leave him with that dude. Period. And you went on about your business. It's another thing too that what Christian people do in their force their mentality, right? They think in their mentality, there's two things in their mentality that they think about forced marriage. The first thing is this. They believe that, and this comes from the man's point, they believe that if they divorce their wife, they believe that God no longer loves them. And they believe that God is no longer going to be in fellowship with them. Reason why I know is because at one point in time, when I was part of that Christian faith, I thought about that. Because when I was a part of that faith, I used to tell people that. But when it happened to me, I used to think that, oh man, we got to get a divorce. We got to be over this. God is not going to longer be fellowship with me. I'm going to lose my ability of being connected to God, and people are going to look at me different and all kind of stuff. So guess what? Many people, like even right now, especially Christian people, they stay in these toxic relationships for the simple fact that they believe that overall the end result is that they're giving God the glory. They're giving God not only the glory, but they believe that God is going to continue to love them regardless. So they stay in it.
So it was that was just something that took
Some time.
years, yeah. And even where we had I think fully healed and really got to our best point in our marriage was about like maybe 3.5 years later. Like it's a slow process, and like I think people do think it's quick just because you hear the testimony now. It's new to you. It's not new to us.
For real.
Yeah,
So
you don't know what we went
exactly. And so that was years of work.
So, man, how did that feel to you from an ego standpoint?
So from an ego,
I'll be asking questions on it.
yeah. So
we're gonna talk this thing through.
So from an ego standpoint, like it was a hit because as a man, I think we think of things so physical that right away it was inadequacy to me. Like, okay, like what am I not enough like for her? Like, and I'm not thinking emotional. I'm not thinking anything else. I'm thinking like, okay, this got to be all physical. Why she did this? Because in most cases, that's what
men do.
Exactly. And so it took that hit then, and then at the same time, it was like I felt like somebody had a leg up on me. Like it was a game that somebody else was playing. Like, see, I got you. Yeah. Like the ring that they saw on her finger was a challenge. Just to say like, oh, I could take anybody I want. Yep. And so for me, like that I would be ready to snap just at the thought of it.
I'm trying to tell you.
If I get my hands on dude, like I gotta go at it. So and so that was kind of like where my mindset was, and that was where it took my ego to it, tore it down. And I don't know, it just had it in a difficult spot to really like rebuild.
Did your ego lead you to say, I'm finna get even? No. And did you get even?
No. And the reason for that being is one thing I love about my family, I had a lot of older gentlemen in there that would tell me about the past of my family. And so When I think back, like I reference my dad a lot because he was a great person that I had as an example, and hearing about my family's past from my grandfathers on each side, there was a lineage of promiscuity from the men and stepping out on the marriage and stuff like that. And my dad was a generational like curse breaker. Like I can definitely say that from that side of it because I saw him be loyal to my mom. I saw the way he loved my mom, and once again, like I saw even when they went through their disagreements, I saw how he still had reconciled with her. And so seeing that, I'm like, that's not an option for me because
Now, notice also why he's explaining this. Notice about her behavior, too. Notice when he started talking about his family, she's talking, mm. The reason why is because she don't like his family. Period. She do not like his family at all. Even right now, she do not like this dude family. Period. It wasn't the whole point that there was as he trying to explain a generational curse thing of dudes cheating and all this stuff there. It's just the whole point that she just don't like his family, preferably because of his mom. That's where it boils down to. Preferably because of that. So this thing that he's explaining to somebody, yeah, is a generational curse. To be honest with you, I learned this. I learned that when we talk about things about generational curses and stuff, right? I learned that that's more of a control mechanism. Okay. Why do you say that, Urban? I learned that that's more of a control mechanism, right? To let people believe that it's something allegedly supernatural that is happening within the family lineage. And normally when people talk about the terms of generational curses, right, they're talking about in terms based on biblical standards, right? What are you talking about, Urban? I need you to break this thing down. I'm gonna break it down for you. Those of y'all who know about the Bible know a little bit of biblical history, right? Here's the story about what was happening to the children of Israel. Okay, there was a time where the children of Israel they was either in good standings with God, long as they was doing things that consider as them obeying God, they was in good standings with him. Then there was times where the children of Israel didn't do things that kept them in good standings with God, and guess what happened? In biblical saying, it's saying that the children of Israel was known as a curse. This is the concept where they get generational curse from. Because also based on biblical texts, right? In the biblical text, preferably when we talk about the Ten Commandments, right? Or in the Old Testament book period. It in the Ten Commandments, it says that they want you to obey God, right? If you don't obey God, guess what's going to happen? That not only you're going to be cursed, right, but your generation is going to be cursed, and your generations after that is going to be cursed. This is where they get the whole concept about generation curses from biblical standards. But however, the reason why I say that it's full of crap is that generation curses really don't exist. It's really based on the choice of that person. It don't have nothing to do with your lineage. It don't have nothing to do with that. Like say for example, in my family, right? My father was someone alcoholic, right? Just because my father was an alcoholic, that doesn't mean that all of a sudden this weird spirit gonna come over me and I'm gonna be an alcoholic. I'm not alcoholic, and I drank. I'm not a heavy drinker, but I drank. I was told that since my father was a heavy alcoholic and stuff, right? I was told by the church that my father had a spirit or alcoholism over him, right? And if I were to take even a sip of alcohol, that same spirit would fall on me and I would become an alcoholic. That's what people told me. And at one point in time, I was believing that. Like, man, I ain't gonna never drink because I don't want to be like my dad. But one time I drink. I'm just gonna just turn up and drink. I drank and turn up, got drunk, and guess what? I'm not an alcoholic. Never turned out to be an alcoholic. You want to know why? It didn't have nothing to do with no generational curse. It didn't have nothing to do with no supernatural being or anything like that. It because I made the choice not to become that. I chose to do that. Same thing with other people in our family and stuff where you know, some people they was going around messing around with their wives and cheating on their wives and doing all this stuff. Just because they did it, that doesn't mean that it's gonna fall on my lap and I'm gonna do it too, unless I allow it to happen that way. Unless I allow it to happen that way. Had a lineage of family where the family is in toxic relationships, narcissistic people and everything. But just because that's their experience, it don't have nothing to do with me. And so the point that I'm making is that generation curse thing is fake. It only happens if you allow it to happen as a person. If you make that choice to fall into that, then it will happen. Then you will become what you hate. Absolutely. But it's based on choice. It don't have nothing to do with religion. It don't have nothing to do with no spirit, no demonic energy, anything. It's you. You make that choice. You. Oh yeah, yep. Facts. Yep, and yep, sure did. I agree.
Because I know what our family line is like, and I don't have kids right now, but one day I got to be that example.
Keith Jr., did you say that you're making decisions today? Holy Spirit, help me right now.
My bad, I had a commercial. Thought I cut that out.
Your lineage in the future.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, I see how it affected, I see how what my grandfathers did affected so many of my uncles that were not my great uncles, but even just like my uncles that were brothers and brothers to my mom and to my dad. And I saw the lifestyle that they lived and the broken, you know, hearts that they had, even within the children that they had from different women. And I said, I don't want that. I never wanted that.
In other words, he made a choice. It didn't have nothing to do with this family lineage or anything like that. He made a choice that he wanted to do that. He did. It didn't have nothing to do with God. It had nothing to do with no demonic energy and anything like that. He made that choice. He chose to do what he wanted to do, what he felt that was better.
When I tell you, Keith, I said I saw some stuff early on in this episode about you, bro. You ain't scratched the surface on how God gonna use you. You have no idea, bro. You have no idea. Have no idea.
I tell him all the time.
Oh my goodness. Then that's another thing. This kind of sorrel, but since he said it, I'm just gonna react on it. That's another thing that I don't like what Christian people do. Where they be separate to my, you just don't know what God is gonna do for you. You just don't know. Man, you just have an anointing on you. Bull crap. I'm just saying. I'm not gonna go into a stream about this, right? I'm not gonna go into a stream about it. That's religion topic for another time, but we'll talk about this some other time. But I'll let y'all know the reason another time.
Keith don't know.
Why I feel that way.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna back up because y'all touched on something that directly relates to lineage. Y'all experience a stillbirth.
Mm-hmm.
Around what time was that?
2020.
Yeah.
September 28th of 2020.
2 years ago.
All right, so good. We're getting to the whole meat of this podcast now. Now they fixing to get ready to talk about the stillbirth that they had with their child. Okay, they figure they're going to conversation about this. Now this situation happened back in 2020, 2 years ago. All right. Now keep in mind also the timeline that I gave y'all about her cheating. Okay. No, the child was an old dude, so at least I don't think so. because that situation happened over 9 years ago. All right. So they finna ready to talk about this. Here is another traumatic situation that happened in their relationship. The first thing is that she ended up stepping out and cheating on this dude. And remember what I stated earlier that instead of her letting this thing go, she decided to go on TikTok and make content off of this and saying allegedly this was God telling her to do this. All right. So let's hear this. As a matter of fact, let me I'm share this with y'all real quick, then we're gonna come back to her story. All right. I'm gonna show y'all this. Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. All right, I'm share this with y'all because we need to get a couple more facts about what she was going through. And this is gonna make what I'm gonna share with y'all is gonna make sense how the way her behavior is. Okay. Now, this situation that I'm officer sure that she put on her TikTok page is this. The very first thing that she got up here is that what? She said that she was molested by a family member and ending up due to the fact that she was molested by a family member, right? She ended up start liking women, which typically through behavior, this is what normally would cause women to end up, you know, becoming, part of the LGBT community, women and men, is because they had this type of situation happen to them in most cases. In most cases, but not all. But she stated very first thing she said that she was molested, then she ended up start liking women. That's the first part. Now hear this.
Thought he had me, but Jesus said you are.
Then she said she was set free from the LGBTQ community, right? And forgave her abuser. All right. She once again she rehashed this thing talking about she have cheated on her husband, right?
Thought he had me, but Jesus
And she's saying that God restored it, what was lost.
said you are mine.
Now they lost their child through a stillbirth. But guess what?
But Jesus said you are.
But God gained a daughter, meaning that since this traumatic situation happened to her, right, the effect behind it is that it had caused her to go super hard with her Christian faith. So now, like the scenes that they showing right now with this music and stuff, right now she's part of the praise and worship team, and different things for her local church that her and her husband attends. So that's what she's talking about. She said, so for the love of Jesus, because it's only because of grace and mercy that she's still her. Notice what she said, that she is still her. Once again, she is still her, not her and her husband. She is still her. Why I'm putting emphasis on that? The reason why is because, once again, this whole situation is dealing with her. This is her being selfish. And she's still continuing with this behavior of being selfish. Now, the whole story about it, getting turned around and stuff like that, I get it. I understand it. But she have not let this thing go. Because even right now, she's talking about her LGBT thing. She mentioned about this LGBT situation on her TikTok, rehashing that up. She mentioned the situation about her abuser. She keep rehashing that up. She mentioned the situation about her cheating on her husband. She's rehashing that, not her husband. She's doing this. She keep mentioning the situation about their child having the stillbirth, not born. Guess who's mentioning that? Not her husband, her. She's doing that. Just so she could want to say that no matter what you done, there's still hope in Jesus. Let's get into the story where they're gonna talk about this, talk about their child, all right? But we're almost done too. I hope y'all enjoy yourself tonight.
I had Felicia and Kariga on my podcast, and it's the first time I ever had the opportunity and the privilege to talk to a couple that had experienced the loss of a child. I saw them on Black Love, and it wrecked me. I was in my office watching that episode, and I was just pacing around in my office just crying. I'm talking about crying like they were my best friends, crying hard. And as God saw fit, He brought them on the podcast. That's my family now. I love them. But y'all experienced that 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. You already had lost your father by that point. Mm-hmm. Trust was lost in your relationship early on, and now y'all at this repairing stage, and y'all get pregnant. Y'all lose. What is it, a girl? A
little boy.
Y'all lost a young king. Walk us
Now, also keep in mind too, that they're going to mention this, but keep in mind that they actually have children right now. By the way,
through that. What was that experience like, Raven?
That was the worst.
now also, Scorpio, you mentioned this, right? You mentioned that she is fake, right? It's funny that you mentioned that. It's funny that you mentioned that she's fake, right? Now, look at this situation, right? They get ready to talk about the loss of their child. Okay. They're getting ready to talk about the loss of their child. Notice when she's getting ready to explain that, guess what she started doing? She started getting emotional about that. She started trying to tear up about that. But here's the thing that I want y'all to pay attention to. And I'm gonna give y'all a little bit more detail about old Raven too. Why she didn't tear up and get emotional when she was out there cheating on her husband? Why she didn't get emotional when she was when that was explaining this earlier? When she was out there stepping down on her husband, cheating on him. She didn't get emotional. She was, yeah, I cheated on him. I cheated on him. God restored me in our marriage. It is what it is. I cheated on him because I didn't like his mama. But when you're talking about the child now, she's getting all super emotional. I'm telling y'all the reason why. The reason why is because the reason why is because for the simple fact that old Raven here is a actor major. When she was going to college, she majored in acting. That was her major. So she knows how to turn on emotions and turn off emotions like an actress. So this situation, what she's doing, just like what Scorpio says, she's being fake. Absolutely, she is. I believe she's being fake on this for real. Even though this is a traumatic experience, I'm not trying to take away the fact that this traumatic experience happened to them. I'm not taking that away, but I have to be real about it too. Now, once again, I keep redirecting y'all about her because she keep bringing this situation up. If this situation was so emotional, right? It was so traumatic, right? Why are you bringing it up on social media? Why are you doing tours, going on the show talking about this? When it's supposed to be sacred between you and your husband only. This dude already had to spend years just getting over you cheating. This dude already had to spend years getting over you being part of the LGBT community. Now, this dude have to get over you sharing y'all most intimate moment on social media, which is the one still birthing y'all child. Keep in mind, once again, he's not doing this. She is. She's doing this. He's just agreeing to it. Because once again, I hate to call him this, but he the one who's being a simp over this. He the one who's not taking charge over his marriage and tell like, hell no, we're not doing this. I don't want our business out there on the street for strangers to judge my situation. I don't know what's your fascination about this. I don't care if you say that God told you to do it. Hell no, we're not doing this because this is our intimate moment. Remember when I was telling y'all earlier about um parents should never be in your marriage, right? For the simple fact that once you allow them access to your marriage, guess what? Guess what's going to happen? They're going to have a entitlement mentality, right? Do you know that by her doing this, sharing this stuff out on TikTok and out on the social media pages, right? Going on these tours on the show, do you know that's the exact equivalent to that? What she allowing not only parents, but everyone to have access to their relationship so they could judge their relationship. Instead of this letting this intimate thing be about just them and them only. That's where I don't agree with. That's why it came across my desk, and that's why I'm talking about it. But yeah, let's continue.
That was the worst time. But this is where I get excited because that's when everything changed for us. Like, everything changed. Even though he didn't get to live, we found purpose. Like, it was literally like purpose after that. Like, everything changed. Everything changed. But it was one of the worst experiences.
And she's not being honest neither too. She said up here saying that we found purpose. No, it's not no we found purpose. She found purpose in the situation, not him. He don't have nothing to do with this, but he just agreeing to it.
Of my life, especially being that we had 2 little boys before him.
Yeah. They were excited for him to come.
And he looked just like them.
Keith, as a man, has to hold your the word husband. The etymology means householder. A husband is one who bands his house together.
Uh-huh.
How were you able to attempt to band your house together when you were broken as well?
At that time, I knew how much she was dealing with that because when we think about like generational things, that also happened with an older brother of hers.
Wow.
And so then my grandmother.
Yeah.
My mom's mom.
Then also notice what he said too. He didn't say how we were dealing with it. He said how she was dealing with it. How she was dealing with it. Just want to point that out to you.
And then my dad's mom had stillbirths. So it was by way of disobedience. It was generational. I believe that it was I never like beat myself up for that.
Wait a minute. She said that she believed that this situation happened because of disobedience. So she honestly believed that God took their child from her because she was being disobedient. What the hell?
Wow.
Stillbirths. So it was by way of disobedience. It was generational. I believe that it was I never like beat myself up for that. But God revealed it to me in the most gentle way that it was a generational curse. And
so God revealed to her that it was a generational curse. And this thing needed to happen to prove a point. Go ahead.
We are breaking that.
Yeah.
We're determined that our kids
never have to deal with it.
Never have to deal with that.
Never have to deal with it.
That is why I will testify of every single thing that God has ever done for me. I will continue to speak. Continue, because you have no idea what we're doing for our children and our children's children. They'll never have to experience any of that, ever. Ever. So I will be obedient to the Lord, always.
Ooh, Lord Jesus, heart wells. Yeah, I got my heart well within my soul. Well within my soul. So you said, Keith, that when did you deal with and have you dealt with?
Yeah, another commercial. Oops.
With it until a year later. And the only reason why I realized I hadn't dealt with it, so like when we had to go through the burial and everything, you know, I remember my mom and her parents had came out, my sister had came out. They were all there for us emotionally. All of our family, I should say. They were all there for us emotionally. And I remember just like that day of burying him, no emotions really came up. And I remember my mom just like, my mother-in-law, everybody was just like, you know, if you need to let it out, let it out. And I didn't, because I wanted to be strong for everybody else. And at the same time, I recognized how much even our oldest, he was of age to kind of recognize what's going on. So that part was tough to deal with. So I think for a long time, I kind of masked it. And what made it difficult was, so September 27th is my birthday.
Day after his birthday.
And for my job, I have to travel for work. So I was in Lancaster, California, kind of just like by myself. And so I remember I was at work that day. It was a Monday, got a call. And she was telling me, like, you know, he not moving. Like, I ate something, he not moving. And so I'm just thinking, okay, like, we've had 2 kids before. They've had points where they just weren't moving. I said, just give it time. It is what it is. And so as the day went on, still wasn't moving. She went to the hospital, and they ended up having to transport her to a different hospital. And I think she was there pretty much all day, almost into the early next morning, before somebody finally told her, like, you know, we lost him. And I just remember being in the hotel room just by myself, and I wanted to be there with her so bad. But, you know, I had to wait until I was able to catch a flight. And I remember breaking down in the hotel room that night. But other than that, I told myself, okay, you got to get up and be there for her, because you know what her family has dealt with. And so she's going to feel this. And so I wanted to be there for her.
And also, the reason why he's saying this, right, is because, in other words, he's translated saying that he wanted to be there because he don't want this thing to come back of her saying that she wasn't there for her. That's pretty much what he's saying. He don't want to come back. She's saying, well, you never was there for me. You wasn't there for our child and stuff. You was out of town and blah, blah, blah. And then she used this as another excuse to go out and cheat on this dude again. So that's what he's saying. That's why he was saying he wanted to also make it the effort to be there, because he don't want to deal with this bull crap with her again, to be honest.
And fast forward to a year later, it was September 1st had came up, and I just had a panic attack in my hotel room. I was back out in Lancaster. I was literally, so the hotel room that I was staying in when we got word that he had passed was literally right across the hall from where they had re-roomed me again.
What are the odds of that happening?
And I remember that day I was just trying to keep busy and just like iron and whatnot. Then out of nowhere, I just broke down. And I called her up. She said, you know what? Just drive to Vegas, spend the weekend with your mom, your sister. And I just took that time to kind of empty myself out and just give everything over to God.
Yeah, and that's what he's supposed to be doing. Even when I deal with that type of traumatic experience, that's what he's supposed to do. And like, be as it may, y'all. A lot of us as men, we've been taught to bottle our emotion in, because we feel that that's a sign of weakness for us to just let it out. You know what I'm saying? So He needed to do that. He needed to release all that out of him. Everything that he done dealt with. You know what I'm saying? In this relationship, he needed to release all of that out and don't need to hold on to that. He also needs to understand that a lot of situations that was happening, it wasn't his fault. It wasn't because God was mad at him, nothing like that. These just life situations based on choices that were made. Okay. Other than the stillbirth for their baby. But other than that, all these other situations was based on choices that were made. And so yeah, he needed to do that. He needed to just break down and cry hard and stuff like that and just let it all out. I remember I remember when I went through my process of my divorce and my first marriage, right? I remember like I was telling y'all earlier that I felt that way. I honestly felt that. Normally I felt my marriage. I felt my marriage. I felt that I felt my children. I felt even more so that I felt God. And on top of that, I was thinking that the church is going to judge me and I'm just not going to be this person, whatever, and all the stuff there. You know what I'm saying? All these emotions was happening with me. And on top of that, dealing with the divorce itself, because like I always say that I never recommend divorce on no one. You know what I'm saying? Because divorce is so emotionally and financially draining. But if it need to happen, to go ahead happen. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But it is tough. It really is. To my experience, it is tough. But but I remember one time I was dealing with all that emotion because I was having it all bottled up. You know what I'm saying? And so one time I just like what he said, right? That happened to me. Literally happened to me. I was just doing something, the next thing you know, I just had a panic attack when my body just started breaking down. My body, it was like my body couldn't take it anymore because I had all this in me. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like my body forcing all of that out of me. You know what I'm saying? So I broke down and had this weird panic attack and stuff, right? Start crying hard. I was just crying hard, just let it all out. You know what I'm saying? Snot nose running and everything, you know what I mean? Because I had that in me. So I can understand where he's coming from on that he needed to release that. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you know what I'm saying. I know that it's not only women who watches my podcast, but it's men who watch my podcast and stuff too. And we be thinking this way. We think that if we show emotions, you know what I'm saying, that it makes us weak. But sometimes it's good for you to let all that out. It's more logical for you to go ahead and let all that out so you can function better, so you can make better logical choices. Because if you don't, then guess what? It's gonna stay in you. You're gonna start doing some irrational stuff. And these irrational stuff lead to irrational behavior. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Where beyond, you know, some men they do irrational stuff when they'll become a narcissist, right? They be so attached, they become narcissists, then they become controlling. Some dudes be trying to delete themselves and everyone else, you know what I'm saying? All because they got all this in them. You know what I'm saying? So it's good for them to release that emotion out of them. But we almost done, y'all. We almost done.
And in all honesty, that anxiety had went until my birthday, because I felt like, okay, that happened the day after my birthday, something is gonna happen again. But you know, making it through the month of September last year was like toughest thing. Yeah. Once I made it through that, I felt like, okay, you know, God, like I can trust the fact that you are protecting us, that you watching over us, that it's not going to happen again. I don't have to worry about bearing another child again, and I'm not going to worry about it. So
y'all want more kids?
I got my vasectomy.
Yeah, we're done.
As far as naturally, we're done. We have all.
Yeah, so he made the choice like, you know what, I'm not finna deal with this no more. So I'm just gonna go and get the one cut. I'm just gonna go and get cut and get it done. To be honest with you, I think that's the best thing he probably could have did in that situation, especially if he's choosing to still be with her. To be honest, you have to be quite honest.
always talked about adopting. We feel like it's a lot of kids that deserve,
Yeah.
a home that,
Oh, they're talking about
we want to
adoption,
do that eventually one day. But
That's close to my heart, right?
no, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I adopted 2 kids.
Really?
Oh, wow.
I adopted my nephew about 7, 8 years ago, and then I adopted this my son Armand.
Yeah, that boy got that cut. Scorpio, he said, forget that. Scorpio, he said, I'm done. I'm done. You ain't getting no of my sperm. He said, forget it. But yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'm gonna share this this last part of this, and we gonna be done, like for real, we're gonna be done, y'all. I know I keep saying it. I know I sound like a broken pastor, but we finna be done for real. I just want to share this last part of this to y'all about her response, because earlier she kind of hinted on mentioning that she believed that this was God's way of punishing her, right? And so she said something else too, and I want y'all to hear this regarding that situation.
So yeah, don't get me talking about that. But gosh, when I say I love y'all's story, I love the fact that everything points back to God. Everything, the most treacherous thing, the most painful thing, the most, at a time when you can get angry and go, God, why hast thou forsaken me? Y'all say, I'm going to break this generational curse. That's absolutely amazing to me.
And that's fact. I agree with you, Scorpio. He made a decision because of her. Absolutely. Because if not, I guarantee that if he was separated from her, I guarantee he would not have got a vasectomy. I guarantee that. But it's because of her. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if she the one who told him to do that. I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
But let's ask, were there moments where you were angry with God?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Were there moments where you were angry with God?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And how did y'all process that?
All right, so we finna get into the details about her saying that she was angry with God, she was mad at God, and I want y'all to listen to what she's gonna say. All right, and this is gonna go back to my point earlier, what I was saying about her. All right,
As in regards to losing Kyler, our son, I did not have any anger towards God. I really didn't. I questioned, Lord, why? And he did reveal. But during the infidelity, yeah, I did have anger. I had anger towards God.
so she said that when they lost their child, she didn't have no anger towards God because she accepted the fact that she believed that God had took their child away based on her disobedience. But however, when it dealt with the infidelity, she said that yeah, she was angry towards God. So the question I want to ask y'all today, who are viewing today, is this: why would she be angry towards God when she was the one who made the choice to do that to begin with in the first place? She made that choice to cheat on this dude. God didn't have nothing to do with that. The devil or Satan show as hell didn't have nothing to do with that. She made that choice. She made that decision. So why is she mad when she made that choice? But we're gonna hear her explanation why.
But other than that, like,
So you had anger, which is interesting.
mm-hmm.
You had anger and you're the one that cheated. Why were you angry?
Because like a lot of people think today, well, God, if you're with me, why did you let me do that?
And that's my point that I wanted to make to y'all today. That's the point that I want y'all to make. So, like, all the stuff I said earlier about the generational curse stuff is all coming back around to why I said what I said. All right. I'm not saying that just because I'm up in my feelings saying it. I'm saying it based on facts. Okay. Saying it based on facts. She simply said, I was upset at God because I felt like that supposed to be all knowing. You're supposed to be controlling my destiny, right? You're supposed to be controlling my situation. Matter of fact, you're supposed to be controlling me like a puppet. You're supposed to instantly tell me, no, don't do it. But since God did not tell her that, she got the green light to go ahead and do it. Since God didn't say nothing about it. And I want y'all to think about this logically. Since God didn't stop her, she had the green light to go ahead and do it. But yet, she said she was mad at God because he didn't stop her. Same situation that I brought up earlier about all the way back around in the beginning. Same situation where I said that she got upset at her husband. The reason why she got upset at her husband is because he wouldn't defend her against his mom. She started thinking that he was a mama boy and all this stuff. Same situation. She felt that since you didn't do this right, therefore I'm angry because you didn't do what I want you to do. Therefore, God, I'm angry because you didn't stop me. I'm angry, therefore, what was his name? Keith. I'm angry, therefore, Keith, because you allowed me to go to Vegas and get a work husband, and you didn't stop me from cheating on you with the work husband. That's pretty much what she's saying. And on top of that, Keith, I am also indirectly still angry with you because you're, instead of you stepping up and being a man and tell me not to do these things, you're allowing me to go on social media and revisit this thing over and over again instead of stepping up and telling me no. So yeah, that's the reason why we don't run this again. So y'all be thinking I'll just be saying stuff, doesn't be saying it. I have a reason why I say stuff.
Like a lot of people think today, well, God, if you're with me, why did you let me do that?
Yep.
That was not the mature way to
You
think.
talking about I had nothing to do with that. Was you. That's all you right there.
I mean, but I wasn't mature enough to even
Right.
understand, or I didn't understand that. Okay, we make our own choices.
Yeah.
See, like even right now, she's starting to stumble on her words, right? Because even in her mind, she know it didn't make any sense. Like she started thinking about like, why the hell did I say that? It's not even making sense. It's not even registering to her. Like, damn, this sounds so stupid. Like, how in the world I'm expecting allegedly all God being to control me when I'm the one who made the choice to do it? And so that's why I'm telling y'all today is that at the end of the day, God don't have nothing to do with the choices that we do as humans. We make the choices what we make. We put ourselves into certain situations where if it's good or bad. We do that to each other. We determine that. There's no malevolent being, God, that's controlling you to make you do that, nor it's not no devil or vengeful spirit, whatever you want to call it, control you to do that. It is you. You're doing that. You're making that choice and decision to do that. Nobody else. You are. And it's time for us to come to that understand, that realization that we need to take accountability for the choices that we make, whether it's good or bad. We need to take accountability of that. Stop blaming people for the one choices and decisions that we make. And take accountability. Understand the situation. If you're not happy where you at, by all means, if you're not happy, you're in a space where you're not happy, you feel that it's not progressing, it's not going the way according to as you want it to go, by all means, you have that all right and privileges just to walk away and to redirect and to reset. You do. It's called free will for a reason. Free will basically means that you have the freedom to do whatever the hell you want to do in this lifetime, wherever you choose to be. You could choose to be either a good person, you could choose to be a psychotic person, wherever you want to be, you can be. Period. You could choose to be that. But it's based on you, your decisions that you make. So it's time for us to get out of this. That's why I said earlier in this podcast that sometimes when people become Christians, right, and they be in this Christian faith, they use this God and this religion as a crutch to try to cover up their overall behavior about themselves. They really do. To be honest with y'all, that's through my experience and through me dealing with this and also researching, the people behavior in the Christian faith, I honestly believe that a lot of people in the Christian faith is messed up for real. Mentally, is really mentally messed up. I hate to say it, but I just honestly believe that it is. A lot of people are mentally messed up and they using religion as a crutch for their behavior. I honestly believe that way. I be seeing it not only in public, but I also see it even on this social media page where people proclaim that they love God, they love the church, they love people, but still cussing the hell out of each other in the name of Jesus. Why? Why? But then when they get into that area, they want to blame people, blame other people, then have the audacity to blame God and blame the devil. When you the one who made that decision to do the stuff that you do. You the one who made the decision to participate in stuff you decided to participate in. Had nothing to do with God, had nothing to do with the devil or anything. You did. You chose that. So it's time that we start taking accountability for us. Because at the end of the day, we only live one life and one life only. Unless y'all believe in reincarnation, but that's another life on another story. But in this lifetime that we live, right, it's us to be a stewardship of our life. Once again, it's us to be a stewardship in our life. So we need to choose things that is right in our life, to do things right, to make um r- rational decisions instead of irrational decisions all the time. To also have a moral compass where that would guide you in your lifetime. So you won't be making these old crazy choices and trying to blame it on everybody else other than yourself for making that choice and decision. Last but not least, before I want to end the show, I'm there's more of this video, but I'm just gonna go on end it, y'all. But last but not least and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Once again, now, I don't mind sharing my personal story with, dealing with my relationship, but here it is. Keep in mind this. I'm not here sharing, pictures of my ex relationships or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not putting receipts on it, nothing like that, because I understand how social media is. I understand the power behind it. So I share it in a way so it could honestly really be a teachable moment for real. Not based on what she's doing. She thinking that it's a teachable moment. She's thinking that she's sharing that testimony, but in reality, she's not. She's still creating damage over and over again to keep revisiting this thing over and over again. That's why I'm saying when I'm saying about this situation. Other than that, if she wasn't doing this, if she wasn't on social media, right, doing this right, and she just sharing this personally, like just so happy we were to be at her church, and she just so happened to get up and just testify on the goodness of God, and she started testifying about that situation. That's different. That's different. But get on social media and keep rehashing this situation, knowing good and well that people like me gonna take this situation, gonna dissect it, and come up with our own conclusion about this. Nah, I don't agree with that at all. That's not cool. Then on top of that, her husband had to keep revisiting this thing over and over again because it's getting shared out over and over again. Because she making the decision, because she's sharing it on her page. And but on his page, he's not doing it. That's all I'm saying about that. And so yeah, I when when it's all said and done and stuff, I've been through that process. I done been through that, dealing with situations like that. And at the end of the day, I came to the realization of this. I came to the realization that, hey, there was certain decisions that I made, and I need to be held accountable for that. And that's why I did. I realized that, came to the realization, revelation, whatever you want to call it, right? And guess what I did after that? I didn't blame God. I didn't blame the devil. I didn't blame people. I took accountability myself and I fixed it and moved forward. I forgive myself. I forgive the people who I trespass against. You know what I'm saying? Since we're talking about Bible, right? I forgive myself. I forgive the people who want to trespass against me, and I trespass against them, right? And I forgave and let it go and moved on. That's all I'm saying. Is that at the end of the day, that's what she needs to do in this situation is to finally let this thing go and move on. Because, like I say, her constantly sharing it on social media is not. There's not no testimony at all. It's doing way more. It's doing way more damage than what it need to do. Yeah, turned her to a reprobate mind. Yeah, facts, facts. And that's is that and Scorpio. That is the textbook definition of what a reprobate is. To be honest with you, to be honest with you. And think about it once again. I'm not see. I'm being lenient on her husband, but at the same time, I'm still saying that he's being beta about this. He's not stepping up and actually being the head of the household like how the way he should be. He's allowing her to manipulate him and control him instead of telling her no. This bull crap didn't go on way too long. We need to end this. We need to delete these social media pages because nobody don't have the right to be in our life. Period. Nobody don't have the right to have access to what's going on in our life. Nor you don't need to share every little thing that happened in our life because it's none of their damn business. Period. Period. That's what he need to do. But other than that, this is all her. This is her doing. And she just haven't realized that she's still damaging this. She haven't realized it. But other than that, that is pretty much it, y'all. This is my own perspective about this whole situation. Once again, like the overall premises of the story, I get it. I understand. I get the intent behind it. But at the end of the day, it's not good. It's not a good look because she's still doing this stuff. Allowing too many people to have access to your relationship. Nope. Mm-mm. No, ma'am. And no, sir. Not at all. But other than that, that's it, y'all. What would y'all think about my perspective on this? Do y'all agree or disagree with it? I know some stuff I say y'all agree, other stuff y'all say that disagree. But that's one thing about me is that I'm going to be real with y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all from my point of view how the way I feel about it. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be straight up honest. It does be what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate y'all sharing y'all honesty and y'all transparency in the chat as well too. So we have these conversations. You know what I mean? And have that on feedback as well too, because it's much needed. Because they like to say, there are situations where this happening. People deal with this in real life, and people need to have a different perspective about it, where it ain't just about our Jesus all the time. You know what I mean? Where you just see a different point of view. Maybe they'll see this video and see this different point of view, and they'll realize, like, hold up, this dude Urban did a full story on this, and I didn't even see it this way. I didn't even consider that. I probably, by me being on social media, that this really still damaging our relationship, and it's probably still damaging my husband. Never thought about that. You'll never know. But thank y'all so much for tuning in to the stream. Make sure that y'all have y'all notifications set when I want to go live again on my podcast. I am going to do a podcast tomorrow. I'm for sure doing a podcast tomorrow because I have another story that I want to cover that came on my desk too. I honestly was thinking about doing it. I was honestly thinking about postponing this one till tomorrow and do that actual story, but it's cool. We'll do it tomorrow. I'll talk about it tomorrow, y'all. So make sure you have your notification set. If you didn't catch the beginning of this podcast, by all means, go back to the beginning so you can hear my perspective about it and everything. All right. So other than that, thank y'all so much, everyone who's tuned in, showing up. Thank you for showing up as well too. She said she have to catch the replay. Yeah, you catch the replay. It's all good. I ain't tripping. And you put your feedback as well too in the comments. It's cool. Um, Scorpio, appreciate you as well too. Happy birthday once again to you. Everybody else who are watching in the bushes. Sal Pest came in. Appreciate you. Rush, appreciate you. Coming in as well too. And Vaughn, she came in earlier and stuff too. So appreciate everybody who came in. All right. And came in and supported the stream. All right. And everybody who watching the bushes who either like it, dislike it. Appreciate you. All right. So other than that, y'all have a good night. And I will see y'all again on the next episode. Peace out and y'all be safe out here and in the real life, in the YouTube streets as well too.